Okay, if we just go through the briefing note, Chief. Obviously, as you know, we're very concerned about public confidence. Throughout the year, it's been 72.3%, not really moving. I know you've put in place some stuff recently. Can you just tell me, is that working, and are we going to see some benefits?
I think it's early days. I think what we've learned with our work with Durham University is, well, if I show you the model, just to, because I'm confident that we are, sorry about the pun, but I'm confident that we are doing the right things. So what we've learned from the work with Durham University is that when we first did the model about what affects confidence, because as you know, satisfaction, we were quite low, about third quartile, so in the third quartile of the 43 forces, and we're now third, second and first on those issues, and you and I are aware of that track where satisfaction is just going like this in its stunning performance. But you're absolutely right, confidence is doing this at the same time, and you think, hang on a minute, all our thinking was that satisfaction and confidence were linked, but there doesn't seem to be a direct link, and what we recognise is there's either a lag, or they aren't as connected as we thought, or a mixture of that. So this is now our current thinking. This is how we affect confidence. So the levels of crime and antisocial behaviour and perception of crime and fear affect people's confidence. And down here, we always thought that knowledge of pact, visibility of cops and feeling informed affected confidence. But now what we recognise is it's only indirectly affecting confidence.
Gotcha. Right.
What really affects confidence is community engagement, police effectiveness and service behaviour, so how cops and PCSOs behave. So, albeit pact and visibility and feeling informed, and if you remember, the two things Durham University advised us to focus on in the first instance was pact and informed, we now recognise they didn't have the direct impact on confidence. So, if you look at where we are on knowledge of pact and feeling informed, that's hugely different to what it was. So then that's why we went back to this model, because we said, hang on a minute, we've moved knowledge of pact from in the 30s to up to the 60s, and it's nearly 70% now. So what we're doing now is, and I'll just show you some of the plans that we're doing on confidence. And what we're doing is we're doing something slightly different in a lot of different localities, so that we can actually be a little bit more scientific about it. Now, where have I put my stuff? I may not have it just to hand here. Anyway, what we've done is, I'll find it.
Yeah, we've got an idea here of the areas.
No, here it is. It's on the back here.
Yeah.
Right. So what we've got is, so hey, if you have a look at Darlington, so what we now know, so if you look back at the model, we're looking at community engagement, police effectiveness, service behaviour, feeling informed, visibility, impact, and levels of crime and perception of crime. So all these things impact on, what are there, about 9 things there. Right, so what we do in Darlington is we're focusing on community engagement, feeling informed and service behaviour. The reason why in Darlington we're not focusing on police effectiveness is they score off the scale. They're just all the surveys in Darlington of policing is the public state, they are just very effective. So there's no point us focusing on police effectiveness there, because they fixed it. So if you look here, what Darlington are now doing is all these factors here is what they're focusing on. So service behaviour, the police in this area are friendly and approachable. Now that might sound like motherhood and apple pie, but if you challenge your staff to do that more effectively and more consistently, what we know is it'll feed back into confidence. So that's what we're doing, and you can see the Darlington model there, the East model, the South model, Bishop Auckland and places like that, and you can see they're all slightly differently. And what we've tried to do there is do it differently, so that we're anticipating changes in confidence at different speeds and for
Yeah, I
different
understand that,
scales.
yeah.
So we can go back to the model and say, well, that would appear to work. And I mean, this isn't all about figures. I mean, I'm very well aware that if the public are more confident, the safer communities for people to live in.
Well, so it's perceptions on the ground. I mean, I was at Packed in Darlington last night, and some of the issues you talk about there, antisocial behaviour, drunkenness, etc., public spaces being overrun by youngsters at times. And the community there, very, very supportive of what the police are doing, but obviously still an ongoing issue and an ongoing problem. We had some antisocial behaviour officers there last night. Are you certain that we're doing enough to work with partners to tackle these problems? Because I think there's maybe an area we can do more.
Oh, I think that's an area that we've always got to work on.
Yeah.
I was speaking to Paul Beddoe, Chief Superintendent in charge of response, this morning, and sort of an unofficial performance meeting, if you will, just holding him to account. And he's now making sure that partnerships, working with other people, is one of the 4 areas that he tests all his people on. Now response officers haven't always been in the front line of partnerships. It's tended to be neighbourhood officers and officers from crime and justice. So what we recognise is that actually, if you look at neighbourhood wardens, the people actually that they're most likely to come into contact with when it comes to reports of antisocial behaviour are response officers, panda car drivers.
Mm-hmm.
So we recognise we've got to do a little bit more weaving in there. I think, yes, I recognise that we've got to raise our game there, but I've always been confident that at the neighbourhood level, the local PCSO, the local neighbourhood cop and the local neighbourhood warden and antisocial behaviour team, based in the Safer Neighbourhood unit, they're absolutely locked in together. But what we haven't always had is response officers, so I think that's something that we can improve on. I think the second thing that we need to look at, and I know you're having conversations with both the local authorities, is we've got to be very careful that in the local authorities' response to austerity, that they don't make all their savings in this sort of area, because I think if an area starts to feel a little bit more depressed, a little bit more crime-ridden, a little bit more antisocial behaviour, it's not an area that's conducive to inward investment.
Yeah, no, that's why we've got to be flexible in our approaches, but yeah, it's very clear. So I'm pleased with the work we're doing. I'm glad that the work from Durham University is also giving us some rigour, but it's still that key area. It's one of the main areas of concern, as you well know.
Well, we're third quartile, and that's not where we want to be. Yeah. We want to be top quartile in everything. We want to be the best at everything. But I think if we give this another 6 months, then it will either give us the confidence that we're completely barking up the wrong tree, or that we're on the right tracks.
Okay.